Well, our next storyteller is Danyetta Chea. She's an entrepreneur and Columbia Heights letter carrier. So how many people actually live in Columbia Heights? All right. She's a proud single mother of two and is astutely respectful of her elders' ways and knowledge. So let's welcome up Danyetta.
Thank you, Nathan. I'll stand. I've been sitting for a while.
All right.
So, first of all, I want to teach you guys how to say hello in Cambodian. You'll put your hands together, and you would say "Jariep Sua," and that would be the formal way of saying hello in the Cambodian culture. The informal way, you'll still do the hand thing, but you'll say "Suos Dai."
Danyetta, can you speak right?
Oh, you'll say "Suos Dai." Correct. In Cambodian culture, you would address every adult or anybody with a title: auntie, uncle, brother, sister. So if you ever hear people call each other auntie or uncle, don't think they're all related in one family, because they're most likely not. It's just a title. But anyways, I thought about today. And at first I thought about I can stand here and teach you guys about cultures and customs and holidays that the Cambodian culture has. However, I feel that if I tell you that now, I would take away from you the opportunity to engage in other Cambodian community members. Because those are questions that you can simply ask them to start good conversation. I wanted to dig a little deeper. I wanted to explain to you why I am me, why my loyalty is so strong, why I am so determined, what my passions are. And to start off, I was born in Cambodia back in 1982. It was just the end of the Khmer Rouge era. And at that time, my grandfather is a professor at the Royal Palace. Therefore, if you guys know, the communists were trying to execute anybody with any type of education in Cambodia so that they can take over. The night before, we learned that our family was on the list. We were to be executed. I was 3 months old. There was a lot of hesitation to leave me behind because traveling, we're fleeing about 15 to 20 people in my family, and I'm the only infant. With landmines, bombs, guards everywhere, it was very risky. And my parents did not want to do that. My mom wanted to stay. My grandparents chose to stay, but my mother did not want to leave me behind. And my dad did not want to leave my mom behind. So we fled. And where I'm going with this is, I am very fortunate to be standing here today, because on the way, my dad, during the night, he actually tossed me into the Mekong River. I am not mad at him. Many people would ask me that. He had a very tough decision to make. It was either risking my life, one child, or risking the entire family of 15 or 20 people that was fleeing with us. Luckily, my uncle saw what he did, and my uncle swam out there and brought me back. So I was injected with, I don't even know what medication, sleeping stuff, sedation, so I can be sedated during the whole time that we traveled here. So I'm just very thankful, and I'm very proud of my dad, actually. I'm not at the least bit angry at him. I think that's a very tough decision to make. Regardless that my parents have now separated, I still respect my dad, and I still do whatever I can for him. So that's one person that I wanted to tribute this tonight's conversation to. Now, like I said, my parents were separated, so I was raised by my mom. And to tell you guys about her, it's a little bit tougher, because she was my warrior. She was my rock. So I'm just gonna give you some examples and what she was. Mom, I got all A's this semester. You could have done better, Donnie, had you focused. My mother's favorite line: A's are nothing without plus signs. Mommy, I made the varsity volleyball team today. She's busy cooking. And your point is that the Olympics or something? She would ask me. So it didn't matter if we were in the privacy of our own home or in the public view. She would challenge every one of my achievements, anywhere, in front of anybody. So all of my friends feared her for that reason. Little did they know, though, that she is the most loving, smartest, and considerate person in my life. Let me tell you why. Raising 5 children on her own, money was scarce. However, whatever my brothers and I needed, be it books, be it new track shoes, video games for my younger brothers, or my new prom dress, she would make it work. She worked long days at 2 jobs to make ends meet, so she really didn't have much personal time to herself at all. We would only catch her taking short naps here and there, and occasionally I would see her sit down and read a book, but never longer than 15 to 30 minutes at a time. I would recall one time she told me it took her 6 months to finish a single book because she was so busy raising us. Yet, out of her strong love for us, she would sacrifice that little time that she had to herself to work overtime to obtain enough funds for my brother's track shoes or my expensive prom dress back in high school. Now, prom, that's really just a fashion show, isn't it? Hair, nails, attire, right? Not truly necessary, but it's the American culture. It's what the cool kids do. But my mother understood that. Even though she was Asian, she understood that. Out of her love for us, nothing was ever unattainable. Despite losing face, if she has to, she would borrow the funds if need be to support our social life, just so that we don't have to have less of an image of ourselves amongst our peers. When really, in reality, image shouldn't matter, it shouldn't affect our lives at all, should it? But she's always been aware of the emotional insecurities that we have of not having another parent, so that she refused to let us lack anything more than a father. She knew that we were not complete without him, but she never allowed us to feel that way. She attended every track meet, every volleyball tournament. She took us to the park often, taught us not only to ride our bikes, but also to fish, like a typical dad, right? My brothers and I, we grew less and less of that emotional need of a father because of how precise she was to our emotional and physical needs. Like I said, she is smart. And she did all of this while teaching us all the other values of life: perseverance, hard work, determination, etc. All these wants that she gave us, she never gave it to us easily though. I always had to work for them. Same with my brothers. Her answer was always no at first. But she would tell us to go do our homework, take the trash out, mop the floor, Donnie. So disappointed my brothers and I always were, and off to our duties we'd always do. But then suddenly, the item would arrive either on the kitchen table or in our bedroom without us even knowing if she didn't give it to us directly. Doing things that way, I learned later that she taught us how to deal with disappointments. She taught us a skill that I think even many people nowadays struggle with. Emotions of disappointments that causes a lot of depression, but my mother was able to teach us that. We learned to deal with it. And furthermore, we learned to continue to work hard for what we want. We later learned how to never lose hope and how not to make broken promises, because she never broke any promises to us if we did our chores. But she would often explain to us and talk to us why she would say no. How it's not a need, but due to her love for us, she'd always secretly try, never promising in advance, just in case she was unable to achieve it. She explained to us the more obedient and the more disciplined we were, the more motivated it was for her to do things for us as well. So it taught us to always do good and to do what's right for people and never to break promises towards each other. So many secret lessons were taught through these tough words she'd often use. You could have done better. It was through those challenging words that we became disciplined children and now adults. As a child from a single mom of 5, I'm proud to say that I graduated St. Thomas. I'm working towards pursuing my MBA at the College of Northwestern. My brother finished his master's degree, so I'm very proud of my mother, and my other brothers are also pursuing their college career. I'm just shocked at how she did it, because I'm a single mom of 2 and I'm struggling. I hope I can do as good as she does. But it was through those challenging words, like I said, that we became who we are. And although he may have meant something else, her words remind me of what Elie Wiesel said to West Germany back in 1987. Words can kill just as they can heal. We grew up to be responsible, accomplished, humble children, despite the absence of a second parent. And that's my mother. Loving, considerate, and highly intelligent. And that's what I have today.